Welcome to Speak for Yourself. I'm Marcellus Wiley.
Big dog.
Marvin and Emmanuel Acho in the building.
My brother.
That's all we can say. All right, let's get to our top story brought to you by Popeye's new 8-piece nuggets. Ooh, fire them up right quick. Y'all come on, lunchtime. Pull up a chair Sunday for the Cowboys Chiefs on the Americans. Game of the week on Fox. And both teams are coming in red hot. Dallas has won 7 out of 8. KC won 3 straight. Look at that. The NFL insider told the Dallas Morning News, quote, "A win in Kansas City will instill the Cowboys as a serious Super Bowl contender." I'm sure of that. Acho, Marvin, what's at stake in the Cowboys-Chiefs matchup?
So what nobody's talking about in regards to this matchup, this Cowboys-Chiefs matchup will dictate who wins the MVP of the NFL this year. I think that much is at stake in this game between the boys and the Chiefs. We know Dak Prescott is one of the favorites to win the MVP. The dark horse we're not really talking about is Patrick Mahomes. Not talking about Pat Mahomes because literally 2 weeks ago from this previous Monday, Chiefs were 3-4. They were last place in their division. Well, now, 2 weeks later, really 16 days later to be exact, the Chiefs are in first place in that division. Chiefs have 6 wins. Whoever wins the matchup between the Cowboys and the Chiefs, I think that team's quarterback will go on to win MVP of the National Football League in 2021 that season. If the Chiefs win the game, well, now the Chiefs will have 7 wins. The Chiefs will be dominating their division. The Chiefs will clearly be favored to go to the playoffs. Beyond that, Patrick Mahomes will likely be the leader in touchdown passes because he's second right now to Tom Brady. He already leads the league in completions. He also leads the league in passing yardage. So Patrick Mahomes will have, in narrative form, taken his team from last to first in a matter of 21 days. Patrick Mahomes, in reality, would have beaten America's team, maybe the best team in the entire
America's
football
team
league,
now again.
but obviously the best team in the NFC, the Dallas Cowboys.
All right.
If Dak Prescott and the Cowboys win, Dak would have now been 8-2, best record since 2016. He would again be top tier in completion percentage, completions, in passing touchdowns, in yardage, and he would not only have dominated the NFC, but he also would have beaten the AFC's best team over the course of the last 2 years. There's a lot at stake for totalities of the teams, but what's even more at stake is winner of this game fast track to win the MVP, and I would go as far as to say winner of this game goes on to win the MVP.
Man, stop. You know why nobody's talking about that? Because nobody's thinking that, because that ain't happening right here. I don't give a damn what the Chiefs do against the Dallas Cowboys. Patrick Mahomes is not winning MVP this year. Not when Mahomes is tied with, is that Sam Darnold? For most games with fewer than 91 passer rating this season. I don't care how many games you go above that going forward. He's disqualified from the MVP conversation this year. Not Dak Prescott. So that's why nobody's talking about that. What's at stake for the Cowboys versus Chiefs? I tell you one word, and it's about the realness. It's about how real these teams are. Now, I grew up when people used to say, stop lying. You used to say that? No. Because you're younger than me. So then all of a sudden, stop lying turned into keep it real. I think you may have heard that from your uncles. And then now y'all want to say keep it 100 or something, you know, and now y'all say cap. Like, oh, no cap. All we trying to do is stay in reality. But you know what? A lot of times it's hard to find out what reality is because a lot of us live in our own minds, right? A lot of us don't live in reality. A lot of us live in our own visions, our own dreams, our imagination of what we are. Oh, wait, man, you wait till I get there, homie. You wait till I do my thing. Well, the Cowboys are thinking that, and the Chiefs are thinking that, but now y'all gonna meet in reality, and we gonna see what's real about these two teams. Are the Dallas Cowboys for real this year? Now, they've had all winning performances outside of that Denver Broncos game. Are the Kansas City Chiefs back to who they are, which is a real team, a real contender? Well, let's see. You're going against a real team so far this year in the Dallas Cowboys. Imagination's gonna meet reality. Are the Kansas City Chiefs going to continue on this upward climb back to who they really are? Or are the Dallas Cowboys going to continue to stamp to everyone in this world that they're a real team? To me, that's what's at stake. Not MVP, not any other consideration. Now, if the Dallas Cowboys win this game, you're talking about a notch on their belt because not only are they facing the Kansas City Chiefs team that is spiking upward right now, they're facing the team and the ghost of greatness. That team, when you play the Chiefs, even though it's not the same Chiefs team we've seen of yesteryear, it's still the ghost of greatness. You see the Chiefs coming, you see Patrick Mahomes coming, you're like, yo, that's a real squad. I know you want to say that Patrick Mahomes is a dark horse for the MVP. Patrick Mahomes can never be a dark horse for the let that joke hit you later. So the point is, all you look at this is for reality, for the real. What's going to happen right here? And I tell you, Dallas Cowboys, to me, it's going to prevail in this one.
It comes down to this. One, I think everything you're saying is accurate, right? You both got to figure out who's legit. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just adding to it. I think that this is a year in the National Football League where we don't know who the best team is. We don't know who the best player is. We don't really know any major storyline of what is dictating this season.
Great points.
I don't think any quarterback right now, and that's usually who wins a major award at the end of the season, no quarterback has a huge moment.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers has a pretty big moment in Arizona. He has a really big moment leading his team to beat the Cardinals short week, primetime televised game. When I think about Dak Prescott, no huge moment comes to mind. I remember that September 9th, Thursday night game versus the Buccaneers, but the Cowboys didn't win. Dak had a huge game against the Falcons, but it's the Falcons. Cowboys may be their biggest win in Los Angeles against the Chargers. Dak had his worst game.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have a huge moment. Josh Allen, he's the MVP favorite right now. I truly cannot think of one great, huge moment versus a meaningful team that Josh Allen thus far has played. Lamar Jackson has had some big moments against the Colts. But you look there and you look at the Ravens and you're like, y'all got 4 losses on the season. Y'all are sitting at 6-4, 6-3, if I'm not mistaken, one of the two. He hasn't had a captivating, galvanizing moment. Tom Brady's done it several times. Bang, bang, bang. 5 touchdown passes, 4 touchdown passes, 4 touchdown passes. But even Brady got some bad losses. But Dak, Mahomes, Cowboys, Chiefs, America's game of the week. We all about to be watching. In order for Dak Prescott to win, we know this much. He's got to outduel Patrick Mahomes. In order for Patrick Mahomes to win, we know this much. He's got to outduel Dak Prescott because what we will see is points. We might not see defense. We might not see a ton of rushing yards. We might not see great time of possession. But what we go see is points. If Dak Prescott wins this game, he clearly will have had an MVP moment, if not an MVP game. For Patrick Mahomes to win this game, he will have had an MVP moment, if not an MVP game. I do think what's at stake is the legitimacy of both of those teams. I'll get to that next lap. But I think what we will go on to look back at in a month and a half from now is, that Cowboys game that Dak played against the Chiefs, those 4 touchdown passes, that was that game where he really solidified himself as the best quarterback in football. Man, that game Mahomes played against the Cowboys, primetime game, those 5 touchdown passes, that's when we certified that Mahomes was back. When Mahomes was the first quarter, when Mahomes had 30 touchdown passes through 11 games on the season, that's when we knew Mahomes was back. That's why I'm saying, Sel, both teams being legit is at stake. But I think we'll reflect on this game as the game that dictated who was going to win the MVP for the season.
Woo! You're pushing that case for the MVP once again. I will say this. This will certainly help and galvanize the efforts of Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes if he were to prevail, because Kansas City's supposed to lose this game. Dallas has a better offense. Dallas has a better defense. Right now, Dallas has the better quarterback. So Dallas is supposed to win this game. And the pressure has flipped because, wow, Dallas, you're going against the Kansas City Chiefs. Who would have said that before the season, that you're supposed to win the game? And you have a better scoring offense, better total defense, and scoring defense than the Chiefs. And more takeaways than the Chiefs. So where are the Chiefs supposed to go? They're supposed to take this L. But if they don't take this L, we know why they won't take this L, to your point of Patrick Mahomes being the guy. But let's talk about why Dak Prescott won't let Patrick Mahomes return to greatness, won't let him return to form. Because Dak is looking at it like this. You keep saying, what's his moment? He doesn't need a moment. It's an old movie called Colors. You used to see any of those old movies back in the days? Any of those gangster movies? You ever seen Colors? I know you haven't. All right, Colors is deep. Like, that's not tier 1. Like, you had to be affected to be watching Colors like that. I get it. Here's the thing. There's a scene in there when the cop was talking to his partner, and he said, hey, do you want to run down there and get one? And he said, let's walk down and get them all. Dak doesn't have one moment because Dak is just methodically walking down and getting them all. Number 1 offense. Dak Prescott, go ahead, big dog. Number 1 in points per game. Golly, go ahead, Dak. How is that occurring? Zeke is balling. Pollard is good. They got great receivers. Good offensive line. It's about Dak Prescott. So I think right now, if you want to know what the storyline is, it's not just one piercing moment. It's all of them collective because of Dak Prescott and his efforts. I think that the Dallas Cowboys beat the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs have to go somewhere else to find their confidence. And I think that Dak Prescott has got this team fully loaded and believing in themselves. And the belief that they will get from beating the Chiefs, even though this is not the same Chiefs team, it's just the fact that you beat that team that you know has been in the Super Bowl the last 2 years, that has won the AFC Championship game the last 3 years. Oh, that's going to do wonders for their confidence.
But here's what the Cowboys, I think, have to fear. What also is at stake is all of the Cowboys' confidence and mojo. Sel, to me, there's a difference between being better and playing better.
Okay.
Right now, the Cowboys are playing better, significantly better than the Chiefs. But are the Cowboys actually better than the Chiefs? Right now, Dak Prescott is playing better than Patrick Mahomes. But is Dak Prescott actually better than Patrick Mahomes? Because while CeeDee Lamb might be playing better than Tyreek Hill, are you going to take CeeDee Lamb over Tyreek Hill? While Amari Cooper might be playing better, and he's not, than Travis Kelce. But would you take Amari Cooper over Travis Kelce? While Dak Prescott is playing better than Patrick Mahomes, I wouldn't go as far as to say Dak Prescott is better than Patrick Mahomes. So while the Cowboys are playing better, if they're not better, then things can really change on Sunday. And all of a sudden, playing better can be a distant memory. Because playing better just means what you are currently doing. But what you're currently doing can change at any point in time. And the Chiefs can very quickly change the fortune of the Cowboys. We can start to look at those teams vastly different. Chiefs win. They've now won 4 in a row. Beat the Raiders, a top team in the AFC West. No longer. Beat the Packers. Oh, sure, Rodgers wasn't there, but that's football. You beat who you beat on that day. Beat the Cowboys. You've now won 4 in a row. You're leading the division. Cowboys lose. Did the Cowboys just lose to 2 AFC West teams in 3 weeks? Have the Cowboys lost 2 out of their last 3 games? Is the Cowboys' only meaningful win with Dak Prescott under center in the month of November against the Atlanta Falcons? All of a sudden, the narrative changes.
It does.
Now you look and the Cowboys beat the Vikings without Dak Prescott. Cowboys lost to the Broncos. Cowboys beat a lowly Falcons team, and the Cowboys lost to the Chiefs. Meanwhile, the Chiefs looking around like, who gonna stop us? Is there anybody else? I think so much is at stake in belief of yourself in this game.
Yeah, you talk about the performance, and then you talk about how the teams really are in terms of their talent. And Patrick Mahomes knew that he was going to get out of his slump, his funk, whatever that was, because he's so talented, right? But who's the more talented team, Cowboys or Chiefs? By your words, it's the Cowboys. Okay, so what does that do? It's doing the same thing for the Cowboys that it's done for the Chiefs. Even when you fall, even when you falter, even when you have a misstep, that talent reminds you, hey, man, we could get up and get up faster than most, right? So if the Dallas Cowboys were to falter to the Chiefs, they'll be reminded, because they're the most talented team in the league, that we can get up and we can respond to this as well as the Chiefs just did. Patrick Mahomes is interesting because Patrick Mahomes knows that I have to play a basic, boring, fundamental style of football right now to get back to who I am in terms of greatness. How I figure? Because Patrick Mahomes got away from himself. Actually, he kind of returned back to his old self instead of the new version that we've seen in the NFL. He went back to his collegiate years. He went back to the undisciplined years. He went back to the risk-taking years. He went back to the years where he saw what the defense wanted him to do and didn't want to do that. And look, high risk, high reward. That's why he became Patrick Mahomes the Great so fast. But it will catch up to you sooner or later. You always tell me this. That's why I don't gamble. I see 2 10s. You know what I'm doing? Splitting. Or I might even double down. I don't know which one's worse, but the point is I got yelled at for both. I'm the dude. I'm the dude. And Patrick Mahomes was getting away with that. Everybody coming around, more drinks, sir. Everybody at his table, because he used to do that. And then finally it caught up with him. And then he said, you know what? I'm going to take what you give me. Lit up the Raiders because he was taking what they were giving him. Then made the Raiders have to commit to the blitz package at the end of the game, and then he started lighting them up old school style. I'm looking at this right now if I'm Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. This is not the end of the marathon. This is not the Super Bowl championship. This is another step in reminding ourselves of our greatness. By the way, our greatness is second to none in terms of talent. So as long as you want to keep telling me how talented Patrick Mahomes is, I'm going to tell you how talented the Dallas Cowboys are. And last time I checked, you do not win a Super Bowl just because you got the most talented quarterback and nothing else around you.
Yeah, but more often than not, you do. You might not win because you got the most. But more often than not, if you got the quarterback who's better on that day, which comes back down to the question, is Dak going to be better on that day?
Hold on. That day is not the same as the best.
Exactly right. But if you got the quarterback who's better on that day, so it comes down to who's going to be better on Sunday.
Okay.
That's why so much is at stake.
Okay.
To me, it's not just the team's belief in oneself. It's the team's belief in oneself. It's who's going to be the better quarterback going through the rest of the season. It's the MVP odds at stake, because if you see them both duel, it's going to tell us who's better. You can go from Sunday to Sunday, and the game is dictated by this. Sure, who got the better team is cute. That's fine. That's dandy. Who got the better quarterback? When we watched the Packers play the Seahawks, Rodgers, Wilson were both coming back from different absences. Packers had the better quarterback. When we saw the Patriots play the Browns, both teams are good running games, good coaches, good defense. The Patriots had the better quarterback. When we saw the Falcons play the Cowboys, Cowboys got a better. The Cowboys had the better quarterback. Y'all look at it. When you're watching football, all that other stuff matters. It does. You played the end. I played linebacker. Neither of us played quarterbacks. But the team with the better quarterback on that day was going to win a football game. So Patrick Mahomes, more often than not.
Okay,
more often than not.
And look, I got cases too, because I'm sitting there, season ticket holder, watching Justin Herbert. Ain't too many quarterbacks better than him. Dak Prescott on that day was not better than Justin Herbert, but it wasn't close. Who won that game? Like, I could do this, and we go tit for tat. But here's the thing. Patrick Mahomes is better than Dak Prescott. But if Patrick Mahomes is going to be better than Dak Prescott based on his past and not his present future, then guess what? You're going to be late to the party and seeing how this team is now being led in a different direction than Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are. So I'm not making the argument that Dak's better than...
Right now, he is, though, in your mind.
Right now, he's performing better, right? He is extracting and maximizing the most of his talents.
Yes, sir.
Which will make me reevaluate what his talent level is. If he continues this, I'm like, damn, Dak is greater than I thought, right? And if Patrick Mahomes continues what he's been doing outside of last week, I'll start to say, let's lower a little bit.
We got to pump the brakes on this, Sal.
I ain't pumping jack.
We have to. Because
why I got to pump it?
Patrick Mahomes is second in the NFL in touchdown passes.
That's love.
Stacking between Matthew Stafford and Tom Brady. So he's second only to Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes is second in the NFL in passing yards. Patrick Mahomes is first in the NFL in passing completions. That did not happen because of 1 week of football. Patrick Mahomes is not the second best in touchdowns, first in completions, and second in yards because he had 1 good week. So this misnomer that Mahomes fell off for several weeks is a complete misnomer. 1 good week does not project someone into top 2 in the important categories, the categories that dictate MVP, categories that dictate Hall of Fame, categories that dictate Pro Bowl.
Let's go.
We don't talk about John Elway's passer rating when we talk about him in the Hall of Fame. We do not talk about Peyton Manning's passer rating when we talk about him in the Hall of... We don't talk about all these guys' passer rating and their completion percentages. We talk about how many touchdowns did they pass for, how many yards did they accumulate, and what was their completions in totality.
But you just made the assumption a lot of people make, that since we ain't talking about it, that it's not a part of the consideration. That's a God complex. Like, what you talk about only matters. You may not be talking about it, but you're wrong. You should be talking about it. Look at the turnovers. You want to keep talking?
We can, but we don't talk about that.
Oh, yes, we do.
We don't.
Oh, you
we
don't? Brett Favre can't even sit comfortably in the chair without hearing about turnovers.
What you mean he's comfortable in his Wranglers? He's sitting there with his feet up.
First of all, Wranglers ain't comfortable ever.
His feet up, talking about how he in the Hall of Fame.
In the Hall of Fame, and also hearing chatter. And this is the point. Patrick Mahomes is going to be a Hall of Famer if he continues this pace, and he's going to hear chatter. Here's the chatter. You're 8th best odds right now according to Vegas in terms of winning MVP. You know why? It's not because you're number 2 in categories. It's because other categories are dragging you down to the 8th best odds. Acho, you're not talking about it, but you want to talk about it now? Because Vegas certainly is considering
Nobody cares about that.
Nobody cares about what Vegas is thinking. Huh?
Nobody cares about the negative attributes of people.
Why do they have him at 8th best? Okay, why do they have him at 8th best? If he's second in touchdowns and he's second in yards.
Who missed the most game-winning shots of all time?
You don't want to answer.
Who missed the most game-winning shots of all time? Michael Jordan.
What is that? That's not the equivalent. That's not the equivalent.
No, it's not. The equivalent is this.
The equivalent if you keep turning the ball over. He's a quarterback. There's only a few things you can do. Touchdown, completion, give it to the other team.
Of course.
And usually that's going to add up to losses. Look how many losses they have already this year. You just think that just happened out of nowhere? It's a contributing factor that comes from that. First game with 100-plus passer rating since week 4. That's the MVP for you?
Sal, nobody cares about passer rating.
Vegas just told you they care.
Pros.
Hey, that doesn't work for me. That doesn't work with me.
We do not know what Eli Manning's passer rating. We don't know what John Elway's passer rating.
So since you didn't do the homework, that means it doesn't count?
Bradshaw's passer rating.
Since you didn't do the homework.
Because those categories didn't even exist then.
Okay.
Passer rating is now some sort of man-made conglomerate of different statistics, and now we running with that.
Hold on. You cannot disqualify something since it doesn't help you. And I'm not even going to try and sit here with a megaphone with it. But I know it's a part of the consideration. I know that when you're an elite company of Sam Darnold and Trevor Lawrence and fewer games under 91 passer rating, that's something that's not a positive. Let's just go there. It's not a positive. First time this season he went back games without picks. You acting like this is some normal stuff.
All I'm saying is this.
All you saying
it's
is what?
Irrelevant. Here's why it's irrelevant.
Why is he eighth best then if it's irrelevant?
Here's why it's irrelevant. I'll answer that.
You can't. I know you better think about it while you're answering this one.
Here's why it's irrelevant.
I can't hear you.
We don't know the NFL's greatest passer rating leader of all time. We know who got the most touchdown passes.
I think it's Aaron Rodgers or Dak Prescott. One of them dudes.
Do you stop?
Do you
stop a football game when somebody breaks a passer rating record? No. You stop a game when somebody breaks a touchdown pass record. Okay. Do you stop a game when somebody breaks a pass rating record? No. You stop a game when somebody breaks the most completions record. Do you stop a game when somebody breaks a passer rating? No. But you stop a game when somebody breaks the most starts of all time record. You don't stop games for passer rating, bruh. We stop shows for it.
Big dog. I'm gonna just say this: how you gonna win an MVP when just last week was your first game since September where you had more than 2 touchdown passes? Think about these things. And you think about Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is out there popping champagne in week 10. You know why? Because he ain't seen this kind of good performance since week 4. All I'm saying is when you start splitting hairs. See, right now you want to say, well, Patrick Mahomes is great and he's going to Hall of Fame and guess what? Who cares? But the thing is, when they start saying, well, Dak been balling, and they start saying Tom Brady been balling, they start saying, hey, if you come back, Kyler Murray, you've been balling. They're going to start splitting hairs. And guess who cares about that? Me, nerds, and Las Vegas. You better start caring. Coming up, is Odell Beckham Jr. a fit with the Rams, or is it just added pressure for Matthew Stafford? We'll answer that later. But first, Steph Curry beat his former teammate Kevin Durant last night. I can see Acho, he over there ready for this one. They tell you if he is also winning the overall breakup. That's next. Don't speak for yourself.
Steph Curry, my guy, dominated in the Warriors' win over the Nets last night with a game-high 37 points and 9 3-pointers. You hear that, Marcellus? Game-high. That means he scored more points than Kevin Durant. His former teammate, though, Kevin Durant, had 19 points but did not score a field goal in the third quarter. Yuck. Golden State has the best record in the NBA. And a columnist wrote, Steph and the Warriors are winning the breakup with Kevin Durant. So I've never looked more forward to a conversation in my life.
Don't look so forward, you fall.
Than the one we're about to have right now.
That part.
Steph Curry winning a breakup with Kevin Durant, Steph?
First of all, let's just make peace before we go to war. Because I know we're going to war on this one because Kevin Durant is right here.
There's no topic
don't do that.
That will end this relationship sooner than this topic right now.
Okay, well, let me speak for myself, okay? And you're going to speak for yourself, and we're going to have us a conversation. Why have to be like this whole issue and divorce and beef and controversy? How come it can't just be about 2 guys that work together and work together very well? Now they went on their separate ways, right? That's the show I would love to do. I got to save that at home for, I guess, my in-studio podcast that ain't nobody going to listen to because nobody want to hear all that. Let's go to war then. Okay. How the hell is Steph Curry winning a divorce when his team ain't even been to the playoffs since KD left? Anybody? Oh, we ain't gonna do that. Not even the play-in champs. They were the play-in runner-ups and took an L. Oh, okay, you gonna say, no. They won more without, no, they haven't. Win percentage, 660, Kevin Durant, and playoffs, 610, Steph Curry. Y'all lost more games, not made it to the playoffs, yeah, Google that, and then want to come up here and let some reporter pop off for you, talk about like you winning something. What have you won without Kevin Durant? Nacha. Now let's talk about Kevin Durant. Because Kevin Durant, like, look, don't go team for team. You know, I already know my team ain't fully loaded. His team ain't fully loaded. So let's talk about mano y mano. What'd you say? Game high, 9 3-pointers, right? Let's talk about the season. Who's shooting better from the 3-point line? Kevin Durant or Steph Curry? Look at that face. Now the world don't move. Who's shooting better from the field? Kevin Durant or Steph? Now the world don't move. Who is averaging more points per game? Now the world don't move. Man, stop. Kevin Durant's a better basketball player than Steph Curry, and more importantly, even while they're both are being undermined by injuries on their teams, his team's still better than Steph Curry's team. So all I want to let you know is this is not an argument unless you want to make it one. And if you do, it's going to be a losing effort, bruh.
That was cute, man. That was cute. I applaud that effort.
All right, let me go, because I don't like beef.
My dog was fighting. He was fighting his little heart out. Of course, Steph Curry's winning this breakup with Kevin Durant.
Why?
I don't even have to get to the basketball court.
Oh, really? So
to tell you why Steph Curry is winning the breakup. I'm gonna get there. I just don't have to get there just yet. Kevin Durant always picks the wrong guy, and if he picks the right guy, he makes him wrong. Kevin Durant picked Draymond Green and Steph Curry. They was the right guy. But then things went wrong with Steph Curry and Draymond Green. Okay, Kevin Durant went and picked Kyrie Irving. Now, that was just the wrong guy. So he picked the wrong guy and things stayed wrong. Kevin Durant picks the wrong guy, or if he picks him right, he makes him wrong. That's first order of business. Kevin Durant and this episode of his latest scene in his life is just nothing more than another Diary of a Mad Black Woman movie.
Will you leave Tyler Perry alone again? How many days you gonna talk about Tyler Perry?
Kevin Durant left the people that held him down. Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Steve Kerr. Kevin Durant left the people that put a ring on his finger. Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Steve Kerr, Klay Thompson. He leaves them because he thought somebody was younger. He thought somebody was better. He thought somebody was Kyrie Irving. He got to Kyrie Irving and found out Kyrie Irving don't even love him. Ain't that a shame? KD just watched a Tyler Perry movie and you wouldn't have made that mistake. So KD left people that were good to him, thinking he had something better for him, and found out it was worse for him. Oh, that's a Wiley-ism.
Don't use my stuff against me, because it ain't working. What?
Kevin Durant once again let his off-the-court decisions undermine his on-the-court success. And that's the problem.
How?
I didn't want to go here so soon, but I got to.
You got to, because so far you ain't going nowhere. You better go there.
I didn't want to mess this up for him, but I have to.
Where you going, Jay Williams?
No, I ain't even got to go there. I ain't got to go there. I ain't got to go there.
Going to text messages? What?
KD has played with 3 NBA MVPs, but only has 2 NBA championships. Where they do that at? How you got more NBA MVP teammates than you got championships? Because look at those that are also great during the era of Kevin Durant. Steph Curry, he played with an NBA MVP in Kevin Durant. But Steph Curry, he got 3 chips. Look at Kobe Bryant. He played with a couple NBA MVPs in Karl Malone, Shaquille O'Neal, to name a few. And Kobe Bryant has 5 chips. Look at LeBron James. Played with NBA MVP. But LeBron James has 4 chips. But Kevin Durant, you done played with 3 NBA MVPs and you only got 2 chips? That's bad math. 2 plus 2 is all of a sudden equals 7.5, and it don't make no sense. How do you take talent, add to it talent, and get lesser than?
You ready?
That is the equation that Kevin Durant somehow found himself in once again. Steph Curry winning this breakup, but go ahead, sir. I'll entertain you because I have to.
First of all, I know you losing. You went to the full screen that you didn't want to use and to the end and didn't even have to use. Now you hit that nitrous button and your car went, it ain't going nowhere, bro. Let me tell you why.
Please.
You just argued with me in the last block. I hope our viewers are just staying with us. About quarterbacks and turnovers. And you said nobody cares about that. You want to know what else people don't care about? How many NBA MVPs you play with in calculations to how many titles you won. What the hell is that derivative you just tried to give me? Kevin Durant doesn't pick wrong. Kevin Durant didn't go to a situation and they held him down. He picked them up, and they begged him to do it. I'll remind you, those champions that walked, they had to walk, because I know where they went. They walked out there, New York City, where Kevin Durant was just chilling, right? He already told you where his heart was. Where did they meet him? Where did they meet him when they had to go and beg him? New York. They had to go out there. And they go to New York and they begging him, all 5 of them. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, we just won 73 games and lost. First of all, how you win the most regular season games ever and then don't come home with it? You know why you go begging? Because you need to come home with it. They grab Kevin Durant and it's a wrap. And then the next year, it's a wrap. And then the next year, they are in the finals. And then it's a wrap again. And then Kevin Durant Achilles go. And then he like, you know what? This is an insertion point, as they say in the universe. It's a time for me to depart. This is a convenient way for me to break clean from you guys. So let me go and do my thing. But y'all didn't hold me down. I picked y'all up. Now, Kevin Durant is doing better than Steph Curry is since that point. You can say what Steph is doing this year is amazing, and I give him props. I'm only up here splitting hairs. But Kevin Durant is still a better basketball player than you, Steph Curry. And God knows if my man Kyrie Irving finally has a change of heart and just sits there and says, you know what, give me the jab. I don't know what's in it, but you know what? Maybe in my life before I've taken something else, I didn't know what was in it. I don't know what's going to make him change his heart. But if he does, oh my God, beware of the Brooklyn Nets. Ask your boys, the Milwaukee Bucks, the champions who benefited from the fact that there were injuries on this same team. If this team is Voltron all together, no team is beating them except my Clippers. But since they're compromised right now, we can have this conversation with a compromised Golden State Warriors. But if you want to go mano y mano, ain't no way that Steph Curry's winning this debate.
Sal, here's the problem, and here's how you know Steph Curry's winning this debate. Because, not even Steph Curry winning the debate, Steph Curry is winning this breakup. Sal, Steph Curry walked into Kevin Durant's house. Kevin Durant was watching TV, feet kicked up on the counter. Kevin Durant was sitting there with his loved ones, about 17,000 of them. Kevin Durant was eating some food. Steph Curry walked into his house, and the 17,000 people that was sitting with Kevin Durant start drooling and salivating over Steph Curry. MVP, MVP, MVP. How do you chant MVP for another man while he in your house?
Yeah.
They chanting MVP for Steph Curry while he is in Kevin Durant's house. Kevin Durant ain't got family, he just got fans. And his fans haven't even become his family yet. Kevin Durant ain't got friends, he got fans. And his fans haven't become his friends yet. Sal, could you imagine sitting at your house, your wife and kids, and another man walk in, and your wife just starts salivating over another man? The disrespect.
That ain't disrespect.
And why is it disrespect?
This ain't disrespect.
Because they must not have loved you in the first place. It's simple,
That
Sal.
suit is too fresh to rip it like that. Stop reaching, man.
It's simple with this breakup, Sal.
Man, first of all,
MVP for a whole nother man in his house. Please, Sal.
You trying to equate fans to family? Don't you know how fickle fans are? They only want what's hot. They only want what's great, and they don't want to know what's wrong.
So is Katie not hot?
Hold on, I'm not finished. This can happen in my house, and it has happened in my house. If you ever visited my house, you would know this. I ain't talking about my wife. Let's talk about something I really love. Not just kidding. The thing I love the most. MJ. Acho, if you ever came to visit, you will understand this. If you came to visit MJ, and if you showed up and you had some Pirates booty, you know what that is? Pirates booty, that little popcorn them kids be, it's crack to these kids. If you showed up, he was like, oh, who that? Because my son reserved at first. He like, oh, who that? Oh, that's Daddy. That's your friend from Fox. He always called it Fox, Fox Sports because he watches a little Cletus and a little Monster Truck Show. He'll give you a little love. But then you whip out that Pirates booty. You know what he gonna say? Daddy, MVP, MVP. He'll start giving you love. You know why? Because my son doesn't know any better. Fans don't know any better either because they're fanatics. And the Warriors fans travel. I lived in New York City. Half the time, the fans in the stadium or arena is just there because they like, look, who else is in town? Because we the biggest show in town, New York City. We get this. Stop trying to make that false equivalency. Now, who's winning this divorce right here? Dr. Dre or his ex? Let's talk about that. Because, a lot of people out there in the streets, at least my homegirls, thinking, she getting him. She got him. Dre winning that divorce. One, he got a prenup. He say it's ironclad. I'ma believe him. But I don't know. I'm not in the courtroom. But you know who's gonna win the divorce regardless? The one who is better in terms of what this is all about. We're fighting over basketball like Dre and his wife are fighting over money. Who got more money, Dre or his ex? Dre gonna win. I tell my wife this all the time. If you ever want to divorce me, baby, it ain't gonna be much of a fight because right now you got 100% of everything. But you leave me, you only gonna get half. That don't sound like a winning proposition. Steph Curry knows it's not a winning proposition. That's why he can't win as much as KD. Steph Curry knows he ain't as good as Kevin Durant. That's why he ain't won as much as KD. And if you look at every major statistical category, how the hell the best shooter in the NBA's history can't even outperform his own homeboy he trying to win a divorce over? Steph Curry not a better three-point shooter than Kevin Durant. And it's by the
right through 14 games?
Hold on.
15 games?
Hey, dog, I'm just telling you.
Historically?
Oh, historically,
that sounds like such a lie. I have to stop you.
Hold on. Historically, they were married. They got together. And then now they broke up. And now you want to just carve up. You want to break down this to last night. Let me break it down to this season.
Please, break down to the careers, if you will. Break down the MVP.
You want me to help you now.
No, I don't need help.
You need help.
Curry needs no help. Like when he won 73 games in a row. Like when he won 73 games in a season. He don't need help.
How'd that end? How'd that turn out? What had happened
How's
was...
it turned out for Kevin Durant's entire career in comparison to Steph Curry?
What you mean entire career?
In comparison to Steph Curry.
Who's the better basketball player?
Steph Curry.
I can't. Change the lower bar. Change the lower bar.
Here's what you refuse to acknowledge.
You refuse to understand that they played together and Kevin Durant was the better player on their team. That ends that conversation.
Here's what you refuse to acknowledge. Steph Curry is to Kevin Durant what Tom Brady is to Aaron Rodgers. If you exclusively want to talk about skill set, I will give you Kevin Durant has a greater skill set factoring in his height than Steph Curry. But if you want to talk about who is a better winner and who is more conducive to winning basketball games, it is unequivocally Steph Curry. So if you just want to talk isolation, we drafted at Rucker Park, I'm going to go with the 6'11 cat. I'm going to give you that. But the game of basketball is about winning basketball games. And Steph Curry is better at winning basketball games than Kevin Durant is at winning basketball games. Period.
So Bill Russell's better than Michael Jordan. You're doing that. You're not doing that. You know why you're not doing that? Because it ain't just about winning games and championships. It's not. So let's be real about that. Okay.
That's all it is about.
Okay, so Bill Russell's better than Michael Jordan.
A legend of greatness, that's all it is about.
So Bill Russell's better than Michael Jordan.
I'm not going to compare from one era of the 60s to one era of the 2000s and the 90s.
So I'm going to give you a pass.
They playing together.
Big dog, the way I swim, the way I be a lifeguard, I'm going to throw you the raft too.
I don't need it.
You need this. So then they play together. And then this when it gets crazy. They play together and it's not even conversation of who's the better player on their team. Not only offensively, but defensively. The reason why they had to beg Kevin Durant to show up in the first place is because they started to slow down Steph Curry in the playoffs. They started to double team on Steph Curry, and Steph Curry didn't find the outlets. That's in part why they didn't win despite winning 73 games. Kevin Durant was the bailout plan, and then Kevin Durant bailed out. He was like, I'm out. Peace out. Why are you mad at this dude? When they play together, I don't want to hear about your history. I don't want to hear about your present. I want to talk about how we got together in the past and who was the better player. So in my category of best players ever, the guy with 3 rings sitting there next to a guy with 2 rings, but the guy that with 2 rings is unequivocally better is the better NBA player.
2 regular season MVPs, 3 rings, a 73-win season, greatest shooter of all time, ain't had no major divorces. And you talking about a guy, Kevin Durant, whose whole career is going to be marred by divorce like J-Lo. Don't do that. Go to bed.
Finals MVPs for Steph. Anybody? Okay, stay in with the NBA. Don't miss your chance to win $25,000 tonight on the Fox Bet Super 6 app. Timely J-Lo won. You didn't do that about a year ago. Where players have won over $5.5 million. You don't want to mess with the family. Scan the QR code, download the app, and pick the outcomes of 6 NBA games for your chance to win. It's free to play. Coming up, Baker Mayfield's play could be hurting his wallet. Man. Tell you if he's costing himself a new deal. That's next on Speak for Yourself. On Thursday Night Football, Mac who? Mac Jones leads the Patriots to Atlanta to battle Matt Ryan and the Falcons. All starts 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Fox, NFL Network, and streaming on Prime Video. Baker Mayfield, BMF, my man, is coming off a blowout loss and an injury last week. And it could all be affecting his wallet. NFL Insider said his health and his consistency are reasons why the Browns should consider other quarterback options this offseason. Otherwise, they could have the same problem of not knowing if he's a franchise quarterback. Acho, has Baker Mayfield cost himself a new deal?
No. Now, he's cost himself more money in his deal that is to come, but he hasn't cost himself a new deal. Here's why I say this. The ultimate signature on a new deal is the owner. And the owner of the Cleveland Browns is Jimmy Haslam. Jimmy Haslam and I arrived in Cleveland at the same time. What that means is this. Jimmy Haslam knows of every quarterback that has preceded Baker Mayfield, including the quarterbacks I played with and everyone that came afterwards. Jimmy Haslam realizes that there were 12 quarterbacks that arrived in Cleveland prior to Baker Mayfield, and none of them won games at the rate that Baker Mayfield has won games. I'm not going to shout them all out, but y'all look at it. You got guys like Deshaun Kaiser, who were 0-15. Guys like Josh McCown, who were 1-10. You got guys like Robert Griffin, who was 1-4. Guys like Johnny Manziel, first-round pick, who were 2-6. You all get the point. 12 quarterbacks that preceded Baker Mayfield, it took them 96 games just to win 20. It took Baker Mayfield 41 games to win 21. So if you are Jimmy Haslam, and you are the ultimate signature on a new deal for Baker Mayfield, and you know what existed prior to Baker Mayfield, you will not hesitate to sign a deal for Baker Mayfield. He ain't cost himself a new deal. I'll lastly summarize the point in a way that I just now thought of, and I realize most people haven't thought of. This is why Baker Mayfield didn't cost himself a new deal, Sel.
Let's go.
Most people are looking at Baker Mayfield and saying he is not as good as what the future has to offer. But you got to look at Baker Mayfield and say he is so much better than what the past had for us. When you look at Baker Mayfield in comparison with the past, as opposed to looking at Baker Mayfield in comparison with the anonymous future, then you realize just how valuable Baker Mayfield is. Baker Mayfield is not the greatest thing the Cleveland Browns will ever have.
No.
But he is the greatest thing the Cleveland Browns have had in the last 25 years.
Right. I follow everything you're saying. And I respect everything you're saying. And that's why Baker Mayfield is costing himself a new deal. Now, a new deal is different than the old deal that was going to be offered to Baker Mayfield. The old deal is always the status quo deal that we're all thinking about. If I don't splash in the NFL, then they ain't going to give me nothing new that's beyond what I'm getting in reality. New means imagination takes over. Old means, hey, I'm just a guy. I'm just one of the other guys on this team. I'm just another quarterback. Baker Mayfield finds himself in this position because, Acho, you just bought a new home. I saw it on Instagram. I saw it on Twitter. I retweeted it, right? Would you ever bought that dream home in a bad neighborhood? Well, you know what? You want to know why? Two things at play. One, I don't want to be around all that, right? And two, the comps will limit the value of what you are. Now, you're selling me a different proposition. You said that Baker Mayfield, hey, this is the home you got. And it's a bad neighborhood. Look at all these quarterbacks. You named them all. But this is going to help your value. Now, nowhere in the world does it help your value that having that situation except in the NFL. But you know how it helps your value? You know how it activates your value? When you help yourself help that value. Baker Mayfield has not helped himself. Baker Mayfield has shown that he's more of the same than different. Therefore, his value will be compromised. I give it to you simply like this. Baker Mayfield has not separated himself from the pack. So no new deal, no imagination deal is going to take over. It's going to be more of the contemplation. Is he just like that long-ass list you just gave us of suspect quarterbacks? Because Baker Mayfield right now is suspect. How is he on a team that has top 5 defense, top 5 running game? Everything you look at in every major statistical category is a top-tier unit. Offensive line, tight ends, wide receivers, et cetera. And then they're 26 in passing. And Baker Mayfield dictates one thing in terms of major statistical categories, the passing game. So Kevin Stefanski, who has that meeting with Jimmy Haslam, says this: we're great everywhere else except. And then you think the pushback's going to be, but he's better than the worst we've had. That's not good enough to get you a new deal. It gets you the old deal. It gets you the regular deal. It gets you the status quo deal, but it won't take you to a place of imagination. So Baker Mayfield is costing himself not only a new deal, but money even in that old deal.
I would agree with you if everything you said was true and accurate.
Okay.
But it's not just that Baker Mayfield is better than the worst the Browns have had. Baker Mayfield is better than the best the Browns have had.
Bernie Kosar?
Since I'm finishing that sentence. Since Bernie Kosar in 1988, 1989.
But check out that.
Like, Baker Mayfield is better than the best the Browns have had in 26 years. So if you're Jimmy Haslam, I would ask head coach Kevin Stefanski this: if not Baker, then who? Because so often we ask Rob Chudzinski, head coach for the Browns, hey, then who? We asked Pat Shurmur, a head coach of the Browns, hey, then who? We asked Freddie Kitchens, hey, then who? We asked so many coaches for the Browns, hey, then who? And all of their answers turned out to be lies. Because all of their answers were not better answers than the solutions they had before. So if I'm Jimmy Haslam and it's not Baker Mayfield, then it's very simple. Then who? But I know this much. It's hard to get free agents to Cleveland. Why? Because it's Cleveland. I would rather go to Arizona. I would rather go to Dallas. I would rather go to Houston. I would rather go to Miami. I would rather go to San Francisco. I'd rather go somewhere else than Cleveland, just by nature of the weather, by nature of the history of the organization. Yeah. So it's not a free agent. Is it a draft pick? Because ain't no great draft picks at quarterback coming out this year. Not like the years past when there were 5 first-rounders. I study college football. Ain't a great draft pick. We going to make a trade? We going to go acquire Aaron Rodgers? You think Aaron Rodgers is going to come to Cleveland? We're going to acquire Deshaun Watson and go through all of those legal question marks? What, we're going to go try to get Kirk Cousins, see if we can reunite and make it feel so good? So if not Baker Mayfield, then who?
Yeah.
And until you can give me a good answer, I've already checked through all the answers, and there isn't a good one. Until you can give me a good answer, Kevin Stefanski, it's very simple.
Yeah.
Be thankful for what you have and be careful for what you wish for.
I disagree with that last part. In life, you don't have to have an answer to know what the answer should be, know what the answer is. Like, this really what handicaps a lot of people and freezes them, paralysis by analysis. Doing nothing is something. Like, doing nothing with Baker Mayfield, just letting him erode and rot away and not give him a new deal is something. Doing nothing is something. I try to tell my wife this all the time because she likes to do things. I'm like, sometimes just sit there and let this world keep spinning. If you notice, if you sit still, this world is always spinning. This world is going to make it work. And then you got to activate at the proper time. So, old saying is, I could do bad by myself. You know, when people in bad relationships, like if you're the Cleveland Browns, you know how many bad ex-boyfriends you done had? Then you got Bernie Kosar sitting there like, I told you should have married me. And then he like, well, you're too old now. So then you get Baker Mayfield and all of a sudden you're sitting there smiling and all this stuff. Dog, as I used to remix it, not only can I do bad by myself, I could do bad by my lonely. Like, I ain't got to do nothing because I know what something looks like. And this ain't something. This is nothing. This is more of the same. And it's not based on me. It's based on him. Baker Mayfield is in money times. Acho, let's stop. Money times. That's like the bosses coming up to us right now and say, hey, Acho, I'm going to give you a little prep. Next week, those shows, if those are fire, the bank is open. The vault's open. How would you perform? And I don't want to hear about the injuries because then I personalize it. I had a back surgery in my contract year. I had a foot surgery in my contract year and still was like, yo, I got to get my money because if I can, I will. That's the most disturbing part to me about Baker Mayfield is that he is capable of doing this and he can do it. He's still on the field. But will he do it? Bruh, everybody on that team is looking at him, hitting him with that old school, hey, dog, for real. Now, I've learned that when someone say, hey, dog, for real, that's the last warning before it's going to get raw and real out here. We ain't going to go to blows. I ain't going to beat you up, Baker Mayfield, mentally or physically to make you play better, but hey, dog, for real. Like, the running game, the defense, Myles Garrett, O-line, tight ends, hey, dog, for real. What you going to do? And Baker Mayfield so far, he ain't doing enough. He ain't going to get that money in the Bronx. Coming up, it's time for the most difficult. Why y'all take me off camera? I had something fresh. It's time for the most difficult list to get in on sports. It's finding out who made that dude's dues next on Speak for Yourself. We all know that football is one upfront spectacular. You like that? Look out. Oh, you got stood up. Look out. Say good night. Like night night. Who that? Who that? Who that? A little dance move the front. Throw them off. He's Superman. Hey, wah, wah. Bulldog. Yeah. Oh, we got good sound effects. Supercharged out there. Ooh, look at this boy out there. Oh, everybody's seen this play, but everybody doesn't know why this play occurred. Well,
I'm so tired of seeing them same old highlights, big dog. You only have 5 sacks?
First of all,
I
got more dancing than I do sacks. Come on, man. I ain't make this money off of that dance.
Well, look, while I wait for some new highlights, y'all no longer have to wait for the return of that dude's dues, because big bro right here, Marcellus Wiley, he's going to highlight the best interior rushes, exterior rushes from Week 10. That's the guys in the trenches. We got to start with Jerry's world, where a Cowboys defensive end stunned it his way to Matty Ice.
Oh, let's talk about Durant Armstrong Jr. Stunting is a habit. Get like me. Watch this stunt right here. See, a lot of people don't see it to the naked eye. This is a stunt. Oh, hit him around. Let's praise the Lord on this. Yeah, I'm some real faithful fans right there. Let's talk about this. You're going to see Durant. Hey, D-tackle, whatever you want to be silky, be slim, be cute out there in a 2-point. Let them know I'm about to come and I'm about to run this stunt. Now, the stunt is everyone on this side, you got to go inside, so we're going to have a looper on the outside. Now, normally you get punched right here. Somebody puts their hands in your chest and slows your progress down. Oh, not Durant Armstrong Jr. You know why? He hit him so quick with the college arm over right there, broke him down. Look how fast he gets in that position right now. Usually, ricochet. No ricochet necessary. I hit him too quick, coach. Sorry, I'm lightning on the field right now. Matty Ryan, we know you ain't going nowhere. Except on the ground right there. Hit your 3D version right there and let him know. But that J.R. Smith, I hope he play golf better than him. Durant Armstrong Jr., you're on number 3, that
Done is a habit. Let's head to college football, where a Seminole defensive end swerved his way to get down Miami quarterback Tyler Van Hill.
Jermaine Johnson, make him say, I I see it, JJ, because that's dynamite right there. We go to the collegiate level. We see all the plays on all levels. I used to always want to go to Florida State, just do that chop. Right here. Hey, bro, you 6'6", 310, man. You're supposed to be in a position where, big dog, never replace your feet. This is strike one. Coach always say, don't you repeat that step. That step got to mean something. It didn't mean anything. Look what it meant. Oh, my inside leg is out of position. Make him say, look how nasty that look. Hit him with that thriller on that thing. That look cute in basketball, but not in the football field. Now we're in a position where we see a chipper. Now, when you see a chipper, you're told to go inside the chipper or attack the chipper. But why would I do that, Coach? Look how weak this punch is. My man's feet off the ground, not in great position. Strike three, you're out. Family feud, we got a problem. So he explodes into 6'6", 300 pounds like it ain't nothing. The chipper's like, you wasted me. Now he looking like, I don't know where I'm at, where they do that at. I know I'm in the state of Florida somewhere. My man, now your quarterback gets knocked out the park right there. JJ, dynamite, Jermaine Johnson.
Dynamite! And finally, let's take a look at who gets the top spot. Titans defensive end who hammered his way to his first NFL sack.
Naquan Jones. It's hammer time. You know his mama named him Naquan. Good Lord. Okay, Naquan, go hit him with that. Ooh, that's that silk. That's what we used to call them fat boy slims when they hit you with that stutter step, and that's a decision in this situation. Tight three. If you're in a tight three, that means you're on the guard real tight. I'm threatening both sides. You try to protect your outside, but you throw your inside hand, and your outside foot steps outside. Oh, that's bad position. So now all I got to do is influence you. Influence you inside, then I hit you with that outside. Look at that. Bah-bah. Smack him in the face a little bit. Nobody saw that, right, ref? Now you get this angle right here. All the other offensive linemen, proper position. You can see their numbers. He's starting to turn. He opened up the gate, as Coach would say. So now when you open up the gate, I'm going down half a man. And then I hit him. Good look. Once you got your arm over and you got the hammer thrower, you bring it down on him, there's nothing he can do in this position but try and hold you. But you went so fast, he couldn't even get to you. My man, Naquan Jones, one more time for that hammer time. Bring it on, and then big dog, just let him know. Still number one. Naquan Jones, number one.
Hey, you knew he ain't got a sack before he had no celebration ready.
Yeah. Leave that man alone.
He didn't, hey, you know what
he
to
undrafted,
do. He didn't know what to do. All right, rookie Naquan Jones has joined that squad of that dudes of the week. Be sure to check us out next week to see who else makes the exclusive list.
Why you in my way, though?
Coming up,
Squib kick.
Dax Cowboys got a big test in OKC Sunday. We gonna tell you if anything is standing in the way of the Cowboys Super Bowl.
I see you, Gabe.
That's next.
Gabe be doing those things. Fire. Now give me a couple more sacks, though. Let me get a couple more sacks.
The Cowboys have a huge matchup against the Chiefs Sunday on Fox. An NFL insider told the Dallas Morning News that a win in Kansas City will make the Cowboys a serious Super Bowl contender. They won 7 out of 8 games, but KC is still favored by 3 points at home, according to Fox Bet Sportsbook. So, Sal, is there anything standing in the way of the Cowboys Super Bowl?
Nothing is standing in the way of the Cowboys and a Super Bowl appearance and a Super Bowl win. Let's talk about this. Let's get philosophical at first. In the beginning, know the difference between what's in your way and what's in your mind. Now, know the difference between what's really in your way and what's just in your mind. These Dallas Cowboys, nothing's really in your way. Think about it. Think about all the other teams out there. We could poke holes in every single team out there. You're as talented as every other team out there and performing as well as any other team out there. Okay, so now we're just stuck with what's in our mind. And what's in the Cowboys' mind? Are they good enough? You know, there's always a talk and conversation. You can find it anywhere on the internet. Fear of failure, fear of failure. Oh, don't be scared to fail. How about fear of success? A lot of people don't talk about fear of success. And the Dallas Cowboys, once you land there, everyone already tells you, you're successful. You got a star on your helmet. You're a Dallas Cowboy. But let's go beyond that in terms of really having the courage to maximize who you are as a team. Can this team live up to its ability is the conversation I'm trying to have. Hell yeah. Why? Because they got the right tour guide. I know you. You don't like Mike McCarthy like I like Mike McCarthy. But if I'm trying to go somewhere I haven't been, I would like to at least go with somebody who's been there before. And Mike McCarthy, say what you want about him, only 8 active head coaches have a Super Bowl championship, and he's one of the 8. I find myself in the wilderness if I'm a Dallas Cowboy because, damn, I got all this talent. Damn, we out here fighting for our lives, and these other teams are good as well. Nobody's more talented than us, but there are other talented teams. But then that tour guide just reminds you, oh, what you see around that corner? Not scary. Looks scary, not scary. Let's keep going. Let's proceed. Let's go as a collective and remind this team of its greatness. So, yes, the Dallas Cowboys can achieve all of its goals if it just stays out of his mind and follows that tour guide.
I'm with you on that one. I think the mind is the thing. I think what will stop the Cowboys from winning a Super Bowl is if they go broke buying into their own hype. That's what will stop these boys.
I like that one.
Remember, against the Denver Broncos, Cowboys are a significantly better team than the Broncos, but they thought that they could not be touched, and boy, did they get touched up.
Yeah.
Even remember the bye week, a Cowboys starting safety gets pulled over, DUI, DWI, whatever the case may be. Those things occur if you think that you are above the law literally and figuratively. You think you're above the law off the field, and you think you're above the law of football on the field, which simply says you better bring it each and every Sunday or another team can get you.
Yeah.
The Cowboys, if they start buying into their hype, they might go broke. That's what stops them, in my opinion. Talent-wise, top 2 or 3 most talented teams in football. Cowboys, Bucks, Rams, Cowboys, Bucks, Chiefs, whatever your flavor is that month. They're one of the 3 most talented teams in ball. Cowboys have one of the best quarterbacks in ball. Cowboys have best receiving core in ball. Cowboys got a whole bunch of bests. So what will stop you if everything goes right is if you start spending your money frivolously. And in this case, if mental frivolous is how they're going to be spending their money. Man, you know, we 8-2. We beat these Chiefs. Hey, you know, we are the best team in the NFC. Man, even in the AFC, Derrick Henry hurt. Ain't nobody good over there. Bucks just lost to Washington.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? If the Cowboys start feeling themselves too much, that is what can and will stop the Cowboys from winning a Super Bowl. That and Mike McCarthy.
I knew you were going to have to finally get it in there. But what you just said, accurate, dead on. But that's the same for every team out there. Every team has mailed in one that you just sit there and say, really? Is that you? Maybe the Arizona Cardinals, but even them, you're like, I don't know. Green Bay came in there hampered. Green Bay came into there and they weren't fully loaded, and y'all let them beat you? One play away, I don't want to hear it. So every team has to remind themselves not to get full of themselves, right? Like if you don't cook this up mentally the right way, you can't blame the stove. Like the stove ain't got no part of this. The game, you can't blame the game. You can't blame the success. You got to blame that you stopped cooking it up right. My grandma used to always say, baby, you can always make breakfast. Just cook the eggs last. And I was like, oh, that makes sense, Grandma. As long as you do the eggs last, breakfast sound kind of good. Breakfast sound kind of tasty. Let's talk about the Packers, 8-2. Cardinals, 8-2. Cowboys, 7-2. Said a lot of twos there, huh? So no matter who you are out there, you could be affected, that this can come and grab you and say, remind you that no matter how good you are, no matter how great you are, you're still not perfect. That's why I like the Dallas Cowboys. Nothing's in their way. The same thing that can get them. And if you look at the Dallas Cowboys, they can remind themselves of how great they are because they're the most talented team out there. Dak Prescott has been playing at a level that is going to get MVP consideration this year. They got a tremendous team, defense, opportunistic. Everywhere you look, you just see talent. What team is better than the Dallas Cowboys? I don't see that, so nothing's in their way.
Here's what else is really real, though. Cowboys fans are going to have to admit this, Sal, you as well. What will stand in the way of the Dallas Cowboys is a better quarterback. If the Cowboys ever come across a quarterback that's better, that's all of a sudden when the Cowboys really going to be in a dilemma. Cowboys went to the playoffs in 2016. They lost not because the Packers team was necessarily better, but boy, they ran up on Aaron Rodgers with about a minute and 11 seconds left. And Aaron Rodgers did that thing. Now, Cowboys 2018, they lost to Jared Goff, obviously not because of Jared Goff, but they lost because that was the Rams' year. We knew what the Rams were about that year.
And Zeke. 47 yards, stop playing.
But this year, with all these good quarterbacks, if the Cowboys run up on a better quarterback, that will stop them. Against the Buccaneers, they just ran upon a more efficient quarterback in Tom Brady. Hey, y'all have 4 turnovers, Cowboys. Game was y'all's for the taking. But Tom Brady was not going to lose that game. Against the Chargers, they ran upon a quarterback that was as good. Now, thankfully, Zeke still did his thing. Tony Pollard still did his thing. And somehow, some way, Cowboys pulled that one off. But think about it. When the Cowboys run upon a better quarterback, that is the only thing, the only time they might get nicked up. In the playoffs, you're not going to see Daniel Jones. You're not going to see Jalen Hurts. You're not going to see Sam Darnold. You're not going to see Mac Jones, at least not on the NFC side. You're not going to see Kirk Cousins, not as it stands right now. You're going to see Matthew Stafford, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Kyler Murray. Those are the real dogs that you're going to have to see. And if you run upon a better quarterback, that is when the Cowboys will be stopped. How long can Dak Prescott keep playing like the best quarterback in the National Football League? That's the question.
Ah, man. I just go back to last year when Tom Brady was not playing his best in the playoffs. But that defense was playing his best, and they bailed Tom Brady out in those situations, right? I mean, he played good, but his completion percentage was under 60%. And even in the Super Bowl, 201 yards, yeah, 3 touchdowns, but still not exactly killing it at the quarterback position. What the Dallas Cowboys have to understand that, damn, I got to tell the truth. Okay, I was great in track, but it didn't last long because I kept getting bigger. My mama was 6'1", 250. My mama was bigger than Mike Singletary, dog. And I was a little dude, and I was skinny. And Cass was like, dog, when you going to be as big as your mama? My daddy's 6'3", 200. Mama 6'1", 250. And here I come, just skinny and fast, right? So I hit track fast, like, whoa. And they were like, damn, from age 8 to age 13, oh, man, I'm like in the history books somewhere. And then all of a sudden, my mama started to take over. You know, puberty hits, and all of a sudden, I started getting big, and then football started looking better for me than track. Let me tell you this. Everyone's ego, no matter how old they are, you're the last one to realize that you're losing it, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm 13 years old in nationals, realizing that I'm not going to win this nationals. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to get a trophy or a medal. I'm going to get a certificate. And I'm like, damn, I'm falling off. So the next year, guess what I do? I start running the hurdles. This is what everyone does when they get a little too slow for the open events. They start running the hurdles. One thing I learned from the hurdles that I take in real life is you don't hop over hurdles. You run through hurdles. So, Dallas Cowboys, wherever you are faced with, whatever adversity you see, maybe you ain't feeling it that day, Denver Broncos, whatever you may see in the future, don't be scared of those things. And more importantly, don't try and hop around over them or run around them. Run through those things because every team, everybody on that track has those hurdles in front of them as well. It was a life lesson for me, and I never wanted to tell you how slow I got. Coming up, Steph Curry won last night. Shut up. But is he also winning a divorce from the former teammate Kevin Durant? We'll answer that next. Don't speak for yourself. Yeah, they caught up. Steph Curry dominated with 37 points in the Warriors' win over the Nets and his former teammate Kevin Durant last night. An NBA columnist wrote, Steph and the Warriors are winning the breakup, with Durant adding their quote, once again, the toast of the league. Meanwhile, the Nets are in a steady state of chaos. Joined now by Fox NBA analyst Ric Bucher. So, Slick, is Steph Curry winning the breakup with Kevin Durant?
No, he's not winning the breakup with Kevin Durant. Have the Warriors gone to the playoffs since KD left the Golden State Warriors? No, they have not. Has KD gone to the playoffs since he left the Golden State Warriors? Oh, yes, he has. Who still have the odds on, according to Fox Bet, who still has the greatest odds of winning a championship this year? That would be the Brooklyn Nets. The Golden State Warriors don't even have the best odds of any team in the Western Conference. So just on that alone, KD is winning. But we also have to look at why KD left the Golden State Warriors. Oh. It's because he couldn't get something in Golden State that he already has in Brooklyn. So not only is he winning, he's already won the breakup because he was never going to get just due for what he is capable of doing with the Golden State Warriors. The man won 2 finals MVP, and yet everybody still maintained that Steph Curry was the better player and that the Warriors, at least some knuckleheads out there, that the Warriors would have won without Kevin Durant. So, being in Brooklyn, whatever happens in Brooklyn, and we've seen it to this point already, they go as KD goes. Now, whether they win or they don't, the fact of the matter is KD is going to get appropriate credit for what he does in Brooklyn. That was something that was never going to happen with Golden State. So that's why KD is winning. That's why KD has already won.
I second that. Everything you said, every syllable, every break, every pause. Oh, my God, Acho, defend yourself.
Slick, I love you, big dog, and I've missed you, big dog. Genuinely, I have. It was a personal delight of mine to say, I want Slick on today's show. A personal delight of mine. I must say this, though, however, Steph Curry is clearly winning the breakup. It has become abundantly clear that Steph Curry is winning the breakup. Slick, Rick, you should not have to beg someone to give you credit If so, you probably don't deserve the credit. See, Slick Rick, I don't walk up to introduce to people and tell them to praise me. Because if they don't, acknowledge anything, then you know what? I ain't done enough just yet. I should probably do more. If Kevin Durant is in a position where people are questioning if he was the driving factor of those Warriors teams while he was there, then maybe he wasn't. But I'm going to get back to that point. Let's talk about the breakup. Kevin Durant didn't win the breakup because he's been to the playoffs and Steph Curry hasn't. The objective of NBA players is not to make it to the playoffs. The objective is to win championships. Nobody says, well, Michael Jordan made it to the playoff X amount of times. They talk about chips he won. In fact, we knock LeBron James for how many times he made it to the playoffs and didn't win chips. So I don't care about Kevin Durant having gone to the playoffs and Steph Curry having not. I care about either team goals, winning chips, or individual goals. Steph Curry won a scoring title since his departure from Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant has not yet won a scoring title, though he leads the NBA in scoring as it stands right now. With that being said, Slick, we ain't even got to get to the court to talk about how Steph Curry has won this breakup. Kevin Durant, once again, he chose wrong, because what Kevin Durant does is either chooses wrong or after he chooses right, it goes wrong. He chose right with Steph Curry and Draymond Green, but then it went wrong. He chose wrong with Kyrie Irving because he chose to leave what was great for Kyrie Irving, what he thought was right, and then it went worse. So that's one reason that Kevin Durant has, again, lost the breakup. But let's really hit the nail on the head.
Oh, now?
I look at Kevin Durant like I look at the incredibly talented Jennifer Lopez, because they are both incredible at what they do. But when you tell the story of KD, just like when you talk about J-Lo, you got to talk about all the breakups. And it's so unfortunate because when you talk about KD, who is incredible at what he does, you got to talk about Russ Westbrook didn't go right. Draymond Green, Steph didn't go right. Kyrie Irving hasn't gone right. When you talk about J-Lo, you better talk about Jenny from the block. You better talk about how she was started her career and has become one of the most galvanizing musical artists in all of entertainment, period. But you also got to talk about Mark Anthony. Then you got to talk about Ben Affleck. Then you got to talk about Ben Affleck again, unfortunately. You even got to talk about our dog over at this network. So, when you talk about the greats, like KD, just like J-Lo, unfortunately, you too, while telling the story, got to talk about the breakups. So without even getting on the court, Steph Curry has won. Because in narrative form alone, Steph Curry has won.
Oh, man. You too.
I'm not laughing at you, Acho. I'm living in my...
I did a disclaimer out there. Hey, don't freeze my assets. Whatever happens... Hey, you talking about some powerful people, man. I mess around. My streaming service won't work. It's all because of you, Acho. Nobody tell you to bring up all them damn names. Leave me alone and leave me out of this. Oh, Acho, I love you so much, man. Us human beings only blessed with two eyes, and then the rest has to be peripheral vision, right? Acho, I don't think you see what's going on right here. Slick is coming for your head. Slick is coming for your spot. I haven't seen Slick and Acho in the same room in about 3 months, and I know why now, because Slick is coming for you. And it's bigger than this block. Oh, Slick brought the hammer in terms of the receipts of why Kevin Durant is better than Steph Curry. But let's just echo some of what Slick said, and let's add to what Slick said. So let's get this straight. Your team has not been better since the divorce in terms of win percentage. Your team has not even made it to the playoffs. You weren't even the play-in champs. You were the play runner-ups. And you're not a better basketball player than I now. And you weren't a better basketball player when we played with each other, because I have the 2 finals MVPs. And more importantly, you have 0. And the reason why y'all came begging me in New York, where that should have foreshadowed where my heart is, but y'all came to me in New York begging, talking about please play with us in Golden State after winning 73 games and dropping the ball in the finals, was because you knew I would be the difference maker. And then reality set in, he was the difference maker. In any team, on any team I've ever been on, no one ever defers until the talent tells you have to. So in this conversation, we already saw them together. We're just making up something right now that's still a losing effort for Steph Curry. And even this year, in this short season so far, KD is averaging more points a game, shooting better from the field, and drum roll, please, shooting better from the three-point line than the greatest shooter of all time, Steph Curry, who's supposed to win the divorce. Boy, stop, Acho. I want Slick to continue to bring that hammer. Give it to him, Slick. Get out the frame.
Yeah, Marcellus, look, this is really not fair. Not only is it 2-on-1, but we're talking about relationships. And when I look at the experience of the three boxes right here when it comes to relationships, I'm like, I was trying to think of which franchise, if Acho was a team, what team would he be? First of all, Marcellus, you're the Raiders. You've been in Oakland, you've been in L.A., now you're in Vegas. Like, you've been around a little bit, but you finally got it right. Acho's in Las Vegas, too, but he's the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Because he started out of the gate real strong, and he's winning, but he ain't done nothing, right? There's not a whole lot of history there, right?
Wow.
So here's the thing, is that when you look at this, and we suggest that it's a breakup, like, don't put it in those terms of the relation. This had to go. Like, KD had to go. You're thinking that he could have stayed, but it's a matter of what he wanted to accomplish. And, Acho, you keep pointing out, like, winning championships. Steph Curry hasn't won any championships since KD left. The Warriors haven't won any championships. And in spite of beating the Nets last night, there were as many indicators about why they are going to be a very good regular season team, but they are relying on a lot of young guns who either have not played in the playoffs or have very little playoff experience. And when I look at the way they play, they are a high-risk type. Jordan Poole is a high-risk type player. Andrew Wiggins is a high-risk type player. You're leaning on a lot of guys who have never experienced that before, whereas I look across the way at the Nets, they've already been through this. They may not be there yet. They had a lot of guys missing last night. I can't help but feel like if we're judging where these two franchises are right now, we're doing it based on prisoner of the moment, what's happened this season, what happened last night, as opposed to the collective experience of what the Brooklyn Nets have and what they're capable of versus the Warriors being that fresh out of the box. They're better than we thought they were. And here they come. There's a lot of things that I love about this Warriors team and that is surprising. And could they come out of the West? Absolutely they could. But there are a lot of hurdles still to be cleared before we're going to know that. Whereas the Nets, honestly, we saw them in the second round, as Marcellus often likes to say, a toenail away from advancing. And so we know how close they got and what they're capable of. We don't know that about the Warriors. So if we're just measuring where the two teams are, we're basing that on whether KD or Steph won the breakup, then I'd still have to put it in KD's court.
Look at the here and now, though, fellas. Let's look at the here and now. The here and now is neither team has won a championship since they separated ways, so they have nothing to show for there. Individually, at least Steph Curry has an individual major accolade. He's a scoring champion, so point Steph Curry. Yes, Kevin Durant and the Nets went to the playoffs, but they really underachieved as opposed to overachieving. But, Slick, you got to remember what KD wanted to gain in his departure and what Steph gained by KD's departure are different. KD wanted to leave to go win. He didn't just want freedom. You can go freedom and get freedom anywhere. You can retire if you want freedom. You leave to get freedom because you want to win and you want to get the credit for the win. Because though he won in Golden State, he didn't get the credit for the win. Well, not only has he not won the chip, he also ain't getting credit for nothing but more drama. Steph Curry, meanwhile, has had addition by subtraction because at least they got peace, and they still lead right now in the NBA, sitting there 12-2. And Steph Curry has proven once again that he is a pure outright baller, top 5 point, might end up being the best point guard ever, depending on if he can win another 2 chips. So while Kevin Durant left to win and get credit for winning, he ain't even getting credit because he ain't winning, Slick. So we know just by the nature of what KD wanted to acquire, he has not won. If you break up with somebody, if you end a marriage, if you end an engagement, whatever the case is, and you end it because you want to go get with somebody else and live happily ever after, if you don't get with somebody else and live happily ever after, you ended that thing in vain. So KD left for a purpose, and his purpose to win a chip and get credit for winning a chip. Not only is he not winning one, but he's not getting credit for it because it's not going to happen. He broke up in vain. So just by nature of that, Steph Curry done won. It's simple.
Marcellus, tell him all the different reasons why you leave a relationship.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
But
hey, what I tell you and what I sell you, two different things. Let me just say this. We're talking about a team, and the only reason we're having this conversation, Slick, you won. That means I won, too, because you were just dragging me along for the ride. After the 14th game of an NBA season, we're not even at Thanksgiving. Someone wants to write an article, not to disparage them, but they write an article that now makes us think about this in terms of who's won and lost a divorce. After the 14th game, what mile of the marathon is that? Like you're watching the beginning, the sprint of a marathon to see who's going to win it? No, you got to watch this entire thing, as my grandma used to say. Baby, you can't make sense out of nonsense, and we can't make sense of this one. Now, before we go, first of all, Slick, what team are you? The Green Bay Packers with your relationship? Because nobody gonna go there. Like
No. I'm the Seahawks because I came late to the game, but I got it right. We've been solid all along. We've had some big, great moments.
All right, love it, man. And y'all make sure to check out Slick's column on the Russell Westbrook experience in L.A. on FoxSports.com. Man, Slick brought the hammer. Coming up, Troy Aikman says the addition of Odell Beckham Jr. might be added pressure for Matthew Stafford. We'll tell you if we agree. That's next on Speak for Yourself.
Odell Beckham Jr. made his debut with the Rams Monday night, but he only had 2 catches for 18 yards in their loss to the 49ers. OBJ had a highly publicized exit from Cleveland, and our own Troy Aikman thinks the addition of the 3-time Pro Bowler might not be the best thing for Matthew Stafford. Take a listen.
You bring in just one player you bring into a locker room, it can change the dynamic of a locker room. But I think Matthew now feels some of the pressure that maybe Baker Mayfield felt. That, hey, we got to get this guy involved, or here's why he's in the game right now. It's because he's going to take this deep route, and I've got to somehow find a way to get the ball into his hands because that's why he's playing on this play. And it's not good, and it's not good playing quarterback when you feel pressure to get the ball to any one particular player. It just doesn't work.
So, you agree with Aikman's comments on Odell's fit with the Rams?
Unfortunately, I do. Look, we can't get up here in these nice suits and start lying to these players about the game. And this is going to hurt me a little bit because I'm talking to somebody I revere and respect in young Odell Beckham Jr. and his talents. But, man, this is a bad situation in terms of fit. Let's be real. The offense right now in Matthew Stafford is broken. Something's going on with the Rams, right? And then Odell Beckham Jr. is coming from Cleveland, and he's broken in terms of something's going on with Odell Beckham Jr. Now, I don't know how these two wrongs or these two brokes are going to make this thing work, going to fix this situation. Then you add on top of it, oh, I'm broken, you broken, but we're going to fix this. No, you're not, because now what's going to keep us in games that's going to allow us to fix ourselves is our defense getting slapped in the mouth and not doing anything about it. So if you add all of that up, that starts to become a reputation. It becomes a perception. And perception is reality in this form in the NFL. When teams think they can do something against you, oh, my God, nothing will stop them from trying, right? The avalanche is coming. Whether you stop it or not, it's coming. And I've seen guys benefit from that, and I've also seen guys just sink and finally drown because of that same thing. Let's talk about the positives. Deion Sanders benefited from this. Barry Sanders benefited from this. Let's talk about Deion. Deion was so damn good that people was like, don't even throw his way. Do you know how many times you could have completed a ball against Deion? Not many, but sometimes if you was just got over the perception that you could throw his way, right? So Deion sits back there the whole game just laughing like they so scared to throw it at me. I'm benefiting off of that. It can go the other way as well. If you're Odell Beckham Jr., and then all of a sudden you come to this Rams team and Matthew Stafford having the hiccups. And then he's like, oh, my God, Odell's out there. I need to get him the ball. But he was the most targeted receiver in Cleveland with Baker Mayfield. How did that work out? So now you feel this pressure to do something outside of the scheme, outside of the game plan. And then is that the formula for success? You add all this up, man, it ain't adding up. And that's why I think this may be a bad fit.
For me, I totally agree with Aikman's comments in the sense that Odell Beckham is going to change the way Matthew Stafford plays. Right now, it is for the worse. But we all should agree with it. Why? Because whenever you're in the presence of greatness, you alter your actions.
Yes.
You could be sitting in your classroom and a guest speaker comes in and you're in the presence of great. You don't sit up. You don't tighten up. You don't stare straight ahead. You might put the cell phone up, turn the cell phone face down. We might be now, a high-level executive might walk in on this studio. We're going to change the presence of our actions. If Michael Jordan was going to be a guest on our show, we're going to tighten up a little bit. Now, it's not necessarily going to be Jordan's fault if he were to guest on our show that all of a sudden I forget the next question or stutter over reading prompter, but the fact that greatness was present changed the way I acted.
Yeah.
And we saw that firsthand with Matthew Stafford and the Rams. Odell was present. First pass of the game. Not only was it a pass of the game, but it was a pass that went to Odell Beckham.
Come on.
He ain't been on your team all season. And now, not only is he here,
2 days.
but he gets the first pass of the game. Changed the way you all acted. Fifth play of the game. Odell Beckham once again gets the ball forced his way, turns into an interception.
Yeah.
You don't have to blame Odell Beckham for the interception, but if Odell Beckham was not there, the ball would not have been forced there. So I'm not going to say that it is Odell's fault, but Odell's presence caused it. You all can deduce from that who is to blame. Whenever you are in the presence of greatness, it might be somebody great looking. And you at the club, and you holding your drink, and all of a sudden you got that nervous shakes because you don't know what to say next, and you spilled a drink on your new suit. You spilled a drink on your white shirt. Because whenever you are in the presence of greatness, your actions change. The Rams are in the presence of greatness. Matthew Stafford is in the presence of greatness. Sean McVay is in the presence of greatness, and their actions have changed accordingly. We just gonna see if it's for the better. Or for the worse.
Ooh, put that up on the
Coming up.
Ram right there.
It's time for our NFL Power Rankings. Find out if the Chiefs, Bucks, Cowboys, who's going to end up at the top of our list for the NFL's best. You do not want to miss that. Coming up next, Speak for Yourself.
Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. Week 10 is in the books, so it's time for us to reveal our top 5 NFL power rankings. Acho, get us started. Who you got at number 5?
Yo, this was one of the toughest ones thus far this season. Number 5, I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're still in my top 5 because they still have Tom Brady. However, a bad loss to Washington is why they're only at 5.
Only at 5, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm doing this one as a favor, my number 5. This is a throwaway for me. Okay, Tennessee, I know y'all hate me right now. Go ahead and put the Tennessee Titans up there. Yeah, they're going to do something. No, you're not going to do anything. Derrick Henry on this team. Oh, he's not there. But when he comes back, the big running back with the foot injury is going to lead this team to where? But I do give them respect. When they're hurt, they're still balling. They're still racking up the W, so I give them some of that love.
I don't get, what can the Titans do more to earn your respect? They dismantle the Rams. They've looked great, not just good.
No.
They've looked great.
Ryan Tannehill's looked great. Anybody?
The team has looked great.
What have you told me about a team? A team goes where
as the quarterback goes.
Then where they go? Number 5.
If they win all the games from here on out, they just still going to be number 5.
Yeah. And Derrick Henry's going to come. I can tell you how this is going to play. They're going to lose one and done in the playoffs. That's how it's going to go for this team. This team has a ceiling. When Derrick Henry comes back, you think he's going to come back in 6th gear? You think that big old dude's going to be ready to put all that pressure on that foot? Not trying to shoot at him. I'm just saying that looks like the reality. All right, Acho, who you got at number 4?
Number 4, the Chiefs.
Better than Tampa Bay?
I got my Chiefs at 4 because which way are they trending right now? The Buccaneers are kind of sputtering a little bit. Lost to Washington. Washington played a good game. Bucks didn't play a great game. But the Chiefs have now beat the Raiders. Chiefs have now beat the Packers. You saw they beat the Giants 3 weeks ago. 3-game win streak coming up against the Cowboys. Mahomes just threw for 400 yards. I got my Chiefs.
Well, I got a team that, recently was undefeated. Then they had, lost one play, then injury. Number 4, we got the Arizona Cardinals. And now, boy, if my 4 played Joe Florida, it'd be a blowout right there. We already know the Arizona Cardinals. Get healthy, big dog. I was just talking about Derrick Henry. I need you to get healthy. So then you can move up the rankings right there. All right, Acho. Who you got at number 3? I hope it's better than the team.
Number 3, how about them Cowboys?
Now we cooking with some grease.
I got the Cowboys at my number 3 team, and I can't wait to see my 3 face my number 4. Fox, game of the week, this Sunday. It's going down. And I think how that game turns out will prove to you that my 3 and my 4 are correct.
Okay, I'm going to do this in proper order right here. And I got my number 3, the Packers. Can I see Green Bay show up? Aaron Rodgers. 6 feet, bro. Aaron Rodgers is right there. I got love and respect for this team. This team might be the best team, being real, but they just, week 1 threw us off, and then you started to roll, and then all of a sudden he threw us off, and now he's back. We'll see. But number 3, Packers. Who you got at number 2, Acho?
Number 2, Cardinals. I got Cardinals at number 2 because realistically, they lost this past week. It was ugly. It was bad. Lost to the Panthers, but Colt McCoy was the starting quarterback. He is not normally their starter, and Colt got knocked out of that game, their backup quarterback, while he started off playing terribly. So that's why I got my Cardinals at 2. They lost to the Packers, I get that, but the Packers have slid since then.
I ain't even gonna give respect to what I should. Number 2, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Wait a minute. I'm looking at your list, and I'm not seeing the Packers or the Titans up there just yet. And that's weird because I see the Cardinals, and I know the Packers beat the Cardinals. That's gonna be interesting. So Acho, make it interesting. Who is your number 1? And let's just start eating on this.
The Titans.
Oh, you crazy.
I got the Titans.
You don't believe.
They have earned the right at the point in which you whoop the mess out of the Rams, at the point in which you come out here without Derrick Henry and you have continued to get better. The Tennessee Titans, they are, to me, the best team in football. Got a bad loss week 1 of the season to the Cardinals. That was week 1. A lot of craziness week 1. Got a bad loss in overtime to the Jets without their top 2 wide receivers, Hall of Famer Julio Jones,
they built off
receiver
wide receivers
A.J. Brown.
Now. They build off wide receivers now. Okay, if Tennessee played anybody else underneath them, how would they go on your list? I mean, like, I don't understand. You're staying in reality and you're giving them, like, cookies.
Stay in the present.
You're giving them cookies because... Be where your feet are. You're giving them cookies because you're like, wow, this is so honorable by them. But do you really think they're the best team in the NFL? They beat up on a Rams team that we now know not so great of a Rams team. Let me give you a real number 1.
Who you got?
Let me give you a real number 1. Put a star up there. Why? Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, I'm going to make up my bad year in Dallas by always pumping them up. Nah, let me stop. You see that? You see that right there? That is a field general. That is a real leader right there in the Dallas Cowboys. No lie. To me, only bad performance this year, Denver Broncos game. Obviously, they got a little too ahead of themselves. Outside of that, all winning performances. This team only gets in its own way because no other team is better than the Dallas Cowboys.
So what we have shared, we both got the Titans.
Yes.
We both got the Cowboys. We both got the Bucks.
Yes.
We both have the Cardinals.
You don't have the Packers.
I have the Chiefs. You got the Packers. Chiefs beat the Packers, big dog.
I mean, but who was the quarterback?
Whose fault was it?
Hey, who was the quarterback and where were his family sitting? Their family was way up there. You trying to say Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers versus the Kansas City Chiefs? Come on, big dog. And that was too close.
If they were to play the game right now with the way the Chiefs are trending upward and the Packers are trending downward, I think the Packers are the better team. Ultimately, that's the only disagreement in our list is that one team. Chiefs played them head to head.
I don't understand your order, let alone your team. Like, the Green Bay Packers are not a top 5 team, and they got a top 5 record. They got 2 losses, dog. And one of them was week 1, as you want to say. A bad loss for the Titans in week 1. Well, a bad loss for them in week 1. Outside of that,
can we agree that Aaron Rodgers is a wild card? That's the problem. Like,
going forward?
I can't bank on a guy who one day is COVID, one day he wants Randall Cobb, one day he wants this,
stop.
One day he wants
That's
that.
3 days out of the year. He gonna get COVID again. He gonna get COVID again. Like, how many times he gonna get COVID?
I don't know how immunization works.
Me either. I don't know how witches brew work either, and that's what he's been taking. But the point is, Green Bay, all these teams, let's stay mentally level. All these teams, if they're healthy, who's gonna win? You think the Packers are not even a top 5 team if healthy?
If healthy and not distracted, of course the Packers are in, and I would probably kick the Cardinals out.
Oh, man. Twitter, let us know which list you like more. Thank you. I can see my mentions blowing up right now. That'll do it for our Week 10 Power Rankings. Tune in next week to see who makes the list. Coming up, where your ball at? You ain't got nothing to spin, huh? Jarvis Landry came to Baker Mayfield's defense. We'll tell you if he's keeping it 100 or just 99 like Acho's list. That's next on Speak for Yourself. Man, that list. Man.
On this show, we only know how to keep it 100, but others only keep it 99, so we got to get to the bottom of who really telling the truth. We got to talk about Baker Mayfield and how he's been struggling with inconsistent play and injuries. But his receiver, Jarvis Landry, came to his defense. Take a listen.
He's a tough man, and he's doing all the things necessary to make sure that he can be out there with us. He always gives his best, and that's all you can ask for.
Zell, is Jarvis keeping it 100 or 99?
99, and if he's supposed to be a real friend, he's supposed to be a painful truth teller. And you're supposed to tell your bro, hey, man, it ain't about trying, it's about doing. Simple as that. Let me give you a quick story. Growing up, we had report cards that said achievement and effort. You know why they had 2 columns? Because they were like, look, I don't want to tell you you dumb, because at least you're trying, right? Baker Mayfield, your boy should tell you like the old school. Hey, man, you ain't doing nothing. I don't care How are you trying? That's the problem.
I was going to say 100, but that little smirk Jarvis Land you said at the end gave it away. I think it's just 99.
Oh, you don't think Baker's performance gave it away either? That's it for us. We'll see you tomorrow. You're dumb.